Welcome back, everybody. It's me, John. Today, I want to talk about 10 principles of politics. So once again, I've compiled this list. It is not a permanent set in stone. It's not my 10 commandments of politics, but it's 10 thoughts about politics that I have. It's a very charged political climate here in the U.S. I know some of you guys listening, you're in Africa, some of my friends out there, and so you're just kind of hearing about U.S. politics kind of secondhand, but the political structure is also charged in Nigeria, from what I understand as well right now. I have not been in a Nigerian political climate for 18 years, but I remember how volatile it was, and it's not that much better, honestly, in the U.S. right now. Like, there's a major difference in some ways, but the U.S. is, we got a lot going on right now. So I thought it would be a good time to kind of jot down my thoughts for me, and then as I was writing them all down, I was like, this will make a good podcast episode. So I'm just gonna go through my 10 principles of politics. All right, so let's start off here. John's 10 principles of politics. Number 1, vote for a person, not a party. Vote for a person, not a party. I guess this one kind of goes without saying. It kind of speaks for itself. Just to clarify, though, in case there's some confusion, what I mean is I am not loyal to a political party when it comes to my voting and choosing a politician to throw my vote behind. I pick somebody who exemplifies the morals that I align with, whether that person is libertarian, Democrat, or Republican. Now, to be fair, so far I haven't found a Democrat who aligns with my political views, and there may never be one, but if there is, I'll throw my support behind them. I've certainly found some libertarians that align with me in a more of my political views, but that's something that I've just decided, which is I'm not going to be loyal to a party and just choose the candidates that they throw on the ballot. I'm going to pick somebody who aligns with my morals. There we go. Vote for a person, not a party. And by the way, this is a fluid list. It's in motion, much like everything else. Like I said, these aren't commandments written in stone. This is just my views right now. You know what? And 2027, John, might be different. Or whenever the next election is, which is I think it's in 2 more years. Yeah. We'll see what happens. 10 principles of politics. Number 2, I will not vote for the lesser of two evils. So I heard a lot of this during the last election, this very last election, the last presidential election. And I heard a lot of, Donald Trump isn't the ideal candidate, but he is the lesser of two evils. And so I'm going to vote for him because he's the lesser of two evils. Not me. I will not vote for somebody. If they don't align with my morals, I won't vote for them. That's just me. I know. I've heard the arguments, people. I know. It's like, well, if you don't vote, you're actually casting a vote for the other side. It's like, no. Not really, because I don't always align with a Republican vote. So if the Republicans lose my vote this year, it's not like they lost a regular, consistent voter. So that logic doesn't really hold up. And I've only been eligible to vote for the last 3 elections. Is that right? Yeah. 2008 was an election year. 2012, I guess, was an election year, wasn't it? I guess I was eligible for that one, but I didn't vote. Anyways. I will not vote for the lesser of two evils. If I feel both candidates are undeserving of my vote is a privilege to cast in their direction. That is how I view it. In the same way that people say, well, soldiers and Americans have died for our right to be free and have a free election. I agree with you. And so that makes my vote sacred. And how I cast my vote will not be profaned by the lesser morals of a lesser candidate. So I will not vote for the lesser of two evils. Number 3. I will not vote for anyone who supports the killing of unborn children. As a Christian, there is no way that I can justify the killing of the unborn through my religious viewpoints. And so because of that, it bleeds into my morals and my politics. It just does. And I am a proponent of life, as Christ is. I was going to say as Christ was, as Christ is. And I believe that taking innocent life is wrong on every level, conscious, subconscious, born, unborn. And so because of that, I believe that I cannot support someone who goes against that morality, that particular moral. And that's me. I know some people feel differently. I cannot do that. If it's the perfect candidate in every other category, he's the guy that's right for the job. He aligns morally with everything else. But with that, he's just like, you know what? He's fine with the killing of the unborn. I can't get behind it. I'm sorry. I just can't throw my support behind somebody like that. So that's point number 3. And again, these are mine. You can make your own list. Point number 4, I don't have to vote to have an opinion. This is one that I hear a lot. People use this one a lot. They say, man, you know what? If you didn't vote, then you don't get to have an opinion about it. And I don't think that's true at all, because we don't apply that to any other area of life. That would be ridiculous. That's the same argument as saying, well, if you haven't had a child, you don't get to have an opinion about the unborn and the sanctity of life and adoption and abortion, and you don't get to have an opinion if you don't have a kid. It's like, no, that's not true at all. I can have an opinion. I absolutely can. It's not an opinion from a place of experience, but it can be a decision. It can be an opinion based on education and understanding and empathy. Certainly it can be. So I don't have to vote to have an opinion about a political issue. And I'm not one of those people, clearly by some of these first 4 points. I am not someone who believes that everyone should vote all the time, no matter if they agree with the politician or not. As I mentioned in point number 2, I will not vote for the lesser of two evils. And again, these are mine. I get it. Some of you are getting hot under the collar right now, and these are mine, okay? I'm just sharing them. You probably disagree. I respect your right to disagree. That's fine. But that's actually one of the points. You'll see in a second. Point number 5, don't trust any politician who uses religion to gain votes, Republican or Democrat. That's a big one for me. That is the biggest, I guess, what do young people say? Gives the ick. That's the biggest ick for me. Did I say that right? My niece is downstairs. I should go ask her if I'm using that right. She's 17 years old. I guess she would know. Anyway, politicians using religion to pull voters into their side, that's giving the ick. I probably didn't say that right. So you'll have to forgive me because I'm 35. I'm old. I'm a grandmother. Classic Vines. Some of you are older. You get it. Number 6, I don't have to trust someone in order to vote for them. You say that might go against point number 5. No, I don't have to trust someone every section of their life in order to trust their viability and their durability and their ability as a presidential figure. So just because I don't trust someone in the area of their well, I guess finances would be one where you would need to have a president who you trust. Let's say morally, right? We've had several presidents who have not been very strong moral figures, who have actually been good presidents economically and politically for our country. Without getting into the weeds and giving examples, that's happened in our country. We've had 45 presidents now? 47? Trump is technically the 45th, but also the 47th. Anyway, yeah, I don't have to trust somebody in order to vote for them. There are certain issues, like I mentioned, where if I can't trust them, then I won't vote for them. But I don't have to trust them across the board. I am not voting for a pastor. I'm not looking for somebody who's morally above reproach in most ways to be the president, although the president should be above reproach in many different facets. But I don't need to trust him on every front. Number 7. I vote with my political views, not my religious views. Now, not exclusively, but overall, if I'm looking at a political candidate, I'm not looking at them and saying, okay, how many of my religious views do they line up with? I'm looking at them and saying, okay, how many of my political views do they align with? And granted, my political views are founded upon my morals and ethics and my Christian views. And so by default, my political views will align with moral Christian values, I would hope. However, I don't vote with my religious views at the forefront. I vote on political. So that's number 7. Number 8, I believe what they do, not what they say. So actions speak louder than words, right? That's one of the principles I hold politicians to. You can say a whole bunch of stuff. You can promise the world. That's fine. What are you doing? Do your actions back up what you've said? And I have voted for candidates who have gone back on some things or not been as strong on some things as they said they were going to be. And that's disappointing. And you learn things about people most of the time after they get elected. And certainly second-term presidents. You learn a lot more from second-term presidents because they're not trying to pull votes anymore. They have nothing to prove. They're not trying to get reelected. And so they are who they are. And they become revealed in their character and who they are. And unfortunately, a lot of times, they reveal that they are not who they said they were when they ran for office, which is unfortunate. But number 8, I believe what they do, not what they say. Number 9, I believe that those who have the means to help others also have an obligation to do so. So we're talking about politics, and most of these have been about political candidates, but politically, when it comes to our country and how we interact with the rest of the world, I'm an American citizen of the United States. I'm honored to be that. I'm glad to be that. I'm proud to be that. However, I believe with that with the existence of a country like the United States of America comes an obligation to help not only our own citizens, but also those who are less fortunate and have less means than we do. And so I believe that those who have the means to help others also have an obligation to do so. So I am for the U.S. stepping into the external affairs of others in order to help the innocent. That's the key, though. It's to help the innocent, not to simply further our own political agenda and masquerade it as helping somebody else. That I'm not for. 100% against that. Don't jump into somebody else's country and fight because you want their oil. Don't do that. It is malicious and evil to masquerade as godly. The Pharisees did that, and Jesus disrupted their lives and called them vipers. So I wonder what he would say about a nation that did that. I believe those who have the means to help should also have an obligation to do so. That's number 9. And then number 10, I will never argue politics at the expense of a relationship. This is a newer view of mine that I hold. I used to just argue politics a lot. I've been passionate about politics. I remember the presidential election in 2004. I remember George Bush running against John Kerry. George Bush running for his second term, and John Kerry running his first with Jonathan Edwards. No, not Jonathan Edwards. Not Jonathan Edwards. Jonathan Edwards was not his VP. That did not happen. Edwards, though, I can't remember his first name. John Kerry ran with Edwards. Can't remember. He did his thumb like this a lot. I just remember that. Anyways, it was very interesting to follow that particular presidential election back in 2004, which was 22 years ago. My gosh. I was 13 years old. And I just remember getting so caught up into it and arguing with people and it creating fractures in relationships. And then throughout the years, and the John McCain versus Barack Obama, and then Mitt Romney versus Obama. Was it Mitt Romney? Yeah, it was Mitt Romney. And then Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, and then Donald Trump versus Joe Biden, and then Donald Trump versus Joe Biden again, or Kamala Harris. And then just this last election cycle, I really just stepped away almost entirely from arguing. Well, I did step away entirely from arguing politics, but really certainly like debating and arguing with people about political views. I just don't think it accomplishes anything. And at the most, it damages. At best, it accomplishes nothing. And at worst, it will harm a relationship. And I'm not about that. I don't want to hurt a relationship. I will never argue politics at the expense of a relationship. I've done that before. I've lost friends. I have a good friend who I grew up with in Nigeria, a great guy. If he's watching this, which he may not, because I think he blocked me on social media, and well, he should have, because I handled it very poorly when Donald Trump won back in 2016. I really rubbed it in his face leading up to the election. We were arguing and debating and going back and forth constantly. And when Trump got elected, I really threw it in his face personally in like private messages and stuff, just really trying to like stick it to him. And I hurt that relationship. And then Joe Biden got elected, and I did not respond to any of his comments when he tried to comment back on my stuff and say, what about now? And it just became this big thing. And that hurt me. I think about that often. I think about that interaction and that relationship that should still be a relationship that I have, and I don't have it because of something silly like arguing politics with people. I think that's stupid. Now, I think it's an interesting conversation to have those conversations, but in the right spirit, realizing that at the end of the day, a relationship is always more valuable than being right. And that's a hard lesson I've had to learn the hard way. Yeah. So I will never again let that happen. I'll not lose a relationship over a political argument. I won't take that bait. I won't bite. I'm not going to be that person. Those are my 10 views on politics. And yeah, that's what I believe. These are my 10 principles. Yours might be different. I'm sure they are. Everybody's political views and points are all usually different. So there, if you wanted to know, those are mine. And I'm excited to implement these in the next election, because some of these I've kind of put together as my viewpoints in like the last year as I see what's happening during this last election cycle and the fallout and the repercussion and the heightened tension, and both political sides becoming more and more like standoffish and opposed to each other and so like polarizing, right? And I want to do better with handling this conversation. So anyway, that's me. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.